What's up everybody? Today I'm in the mood for some barbecue, so let's go to the store, get some pork belly and make some pork belly burn ends. Let's talk about our pork belly. So this is a 10-pound slab of skinless pork belly from Swift Meats. This is the same cut that you would use for making homemade bacon, but we're gonna use this to make our pork belly burn ends. So let's get started. And you can see it's a great looking piece of meat. You got your fatty pieces, your lean pieces. So I'm gonna save half of it and use the other half for my pork belly burn ends. Let's take this out of the packaging. First things first, we're gonna cut this into strips about 1 inch thick. You want to make sure they're nice and even. This will help the pork belly cook evenly. So this is kind of what you're going for here. Again, a nice mix of the lean, of the fatty. So let's put these off to the side. Our pork belly strips are cut, so now I'm going to turn these guys around and make one more cut to make 1 inch by 1 inch cubes. Make our cuts, so this is kind of what you're going for, a nice bite size, about 1 inch by 1 inch piece of pork belly. Pork belly's cut up, so I'm going to put this into a foil pan to get it seasoned up. This just makes it a lot easier. This is also a perfect time to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get all the notifications so you don't miss my future videos. For the seasoning, I'm going with Meat Church Holy Gospel first. This is a great all-purpose rub, so we're going to hit the pork belly pretty heavily. You want to make sure all sides are coated. And for the second rub, I'm going with Hardcore Carnivore Sweet. This is a sweeter rub to give the pork belly a little sweetness. So we're gonna go about equal parts of each. If you see any bare spots, just add some more seasoning. Again, the key here is to make sure that everything is well coated, all sides of the pork belly, because that's where a lot of that flavor is gonna come from. After the pork belly seasoned up, I'm gonna take a wire rack. You can use like a cookie cooling sheet. And I'm just gonna place the pork belly on my wire rack. This will make the cooking process much easier because it'll be quicker to put all this on the egg and then take it off when it's finished. Line them up, make sure there's a little space in between them to allow the air and the smoke to kind of go through everything. Our pork belly's prepped, so let's fire up the big green egg. This time I'm using these paper towels and these are soaked in vegetable oil. So if you don't have starters, this is another easy way of getting the charcoal fired up. So I'll just put these right here in the coals. Take your lighter and then just get these guys fired up, and then the oil will help it burn nice and slow to get the coals nice and hot for the pork belly. Egg is cruising at about 275 degrees. I've got my rack with the pork belly, so let's put this on and we'll let these guys cook away. The trick with cooking pork belly burn ends is that you want to get that fat and meat super tender and melt in your mouth. So for the first part of the cook, I'm going 275 degrees for about 2 hours or so to get that nice smoky flavor on the outside. Then we'll finish it in a foil pan with some barbecue sauce, some brown sugar to render out even more of the fat and get it super delicious. Our pork belly's been on for about 2.5 hours, so let's take a quick look and see how these guys are looking. And they are looking pretty amazing. Great color on the outside. They are feeling nice and squishy. Here, take a look at this. Oh yeah. We're gonna pull these guys off and move on to the next part of the cook. All right, so here's our pork belly. Now for this next part of the cook, we're gonna take a foil pan, put the pork belly in. The pork belly as it sits right now, it's getting nice and soft, but it's still a little firm. So this next part in the foil pan is gonna get this super tender. So we're gonna hit it with a little brown sugar for some sweetness. So just drizzle that right on top. I'll add a couple pats of butter. We'll add a little bit more of our barbecue seasoning. A drizzle of honey. Ooh, this is looking so good. And your favorite barbecue sauce. There's no specific measurements for these, just a nice even drizzle of everything. Now I'm gonna mix it all up, get these covered in the sauce and the honey and the brown sugar, and these things will be amazing. We'll cover this whole thing up with foil. Make sure the edges are nice and tight. And now this goes back on the grill. Same temperature, about the 275 degrees or so. until these pork belly burnt ends get super tender. This will take about 2 more hours to cook, so we'll come back and check on it in a little bit. All right, our pork belly burnt ends have been on for about another 2.5 hours, so let's go take a look and see how they're doing. Let's take a look how these guys are coming along. So again, we're going here for tenderness. Oh yeah, look at these. They're just kind of bubbling away in that barbecue sauce, that butter, that rendered out fat. So just, you want to take your thermometer and then just see, look at that. It just goes in, great color. They are pillowy soft. So I'm gonna pull these guys off, keep them covered and let them rest for about 30 to 45 minutes because they're super hot. We'll let them cool down and we'll see how they turned out. Pork belly burnt ends have rested and these guys are looking absolutely amazing. Here, let me take one out. Let me just show you. It is nice and squishy. You have the fatty piece on top, the meaty part on the bottom. Let's plate these guys up and see how they turn out. Gonna scoop these guys out and then just plate them in my little tray lined with some butcher paper. Make for a nicer presentation. Look at this, you get this thick sauce on the bottom. That's a mix of that barbecue sauce, that butter, that rendered out pork belly fat. Oh my gosh. These guys will be delicious. And here is what they look like all plated up. So these make an awesome appetizer. Now, one thing to remember, these are made from pork belly, so they're super fatty, very rich. You can probably only eat just a handful of these before you start getting kind of really full. I like to serve these with some toothpicks. Just gonna put these out so your guests can just grab a toothpick and just go right in. And oh man, like it is just no resistance. So let's test this thing out. The fat just melts in your mouth, so that's what you're looking for. You get a little bite from that meaty piece. Great kind of smoky flavor. You get that barbecue sauce. Oh man, these are really good. And again, perfect for serving, just like this. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm gonna hang out here, eat some more of my pork belly burnt ends, and I'll see you guys next week.